This week in wrestling has been absolutely arbitrary, to say the least. To kick it off, we are going to be talking about Chelsea Green heading to SummerSlam and the fact that she is absolutely over Finn Balor getting his opportunity once again. We're going to jump over to Raw, talk about this very odd Danhausen segment. We're going to wrap it up by talking about Raquel Rodriguez's huge move in her career, and of course, the real reason most people are here. We are going to be going over my SummerSlam predictions for Night 1 and Night 2 ahead of this weekend.
Look at this! ZigZag! Cover!
What is going on, and welcome back to the ZigZag Wrestling Club. My name is Corbin, and thank you for joining me here today. Let's just go ahead and jump right in. Breaking news, not WWE related. LeBron James is heading to the 76ers. And if I'm going to be honest, I'm not the biggest LeBron fan. I mean, he's fine. I think he's kind of funny. I don't think he's the GOAT. MJ's on top. But it was just totally random to me that I opened my phone after work a few days ago, and I just see LeBron to the 76ers, and I was like, that's a joke, right? And guess what? It wasn't a joke. This kind of feels like in Ted Lasso when Zava goes to AFC Richmond, which, if you guys haven't seen this show, Zava is basically supposed to be like Messi. That's like the only comparison I can make. I just know he's supposed to be like soccer Jesus. And that's kind of how this situation feels. LeBron heading to the 76ers, a trash team, and Zava heading to AFC Richmond. AFC Richmond being the team they follow in Ted Lasso, and their team sucks really, really bad as well. And so that's just what it felt like to me. He came on and said, well, I'm going to do what I can to, show how great I am and, help the team out. And what's cool is he did sign for only $8 million. So, like, obviously he wants to try and take the 76ers, who I don't follow NBA very much except for just the finals. But if I remember correctly, the 76ers are not that great. So LeBron going to the 76ers, seeing what he can do over there can be kind of interesting. I wonder if he'll even make the playoffs with some absolute bums. And I think that's the reason he's doing it, because there's such a big controversy around him just putting together super teams or whatever to win his championships, which, if you think that, cool. If you don't, cool. Like, I genuinely just do not care about basketball that much. I think MJ is the GOAT just because, my dad always talks about him, and that's just what I knew growing up. And I think the amount of championships and the amount of just pure aggression and takeover power that he had on the court was just unbelievable. Of course, I never got to see him play. I've seen LeBron play. I've seen Curry play. I mean, like, those are the two biggest names I have in my generation growing up. Gordon Hayward. Oh, Gordon Hayward. That made me sad saying that. That's my GOAT for real. But I thought it was just so random that LeBron went to the 76ers. I thought I'd chuck it out. But let's talk about some real entertainment. Let's talk about SmackDown. By the way, it's been a few weeks since it's gone back to 2 hours, and I'm absolutely loving it. Speaking of things I love, Nikki Bella returns. And do you know why that's funny? It's a little double entendre, because I actually don't like Nikki Bella at all. But I do like Fatal Influence. So I would like to see Fatal Influence put the beat down on the Bellas and Paige at SummerSlam. If you guys didn't see, Nikki Bella has a major return. She got a pretty big pop. Good for her. And obviously sets up a 3v3 match at SummerSlam between the Bellas and Paige versus Fatal Influence. Like I just said, I will be going over my prediction here in a little bit for that. Here's the thing, though. I don't know which way WWE is going to go with it, because I don't know if they're going to do like returning legend superstar cheese, where they all of a sudden are like, yo, CM Punk came back after 6 months. We're going to put the championship on him. And you're like, really? But didn't you just change champions? And it's like, it's not like I care. I'm not the hugest Sami Zayn fan. I actually like him more after he lost the title, because I actually kind of just felt bad for him. And I liked his character after he lost the championship way better than what he's been doing for the past like 10 years. But I don't know if they're going to do this weird thing where it's like Nikki Bella, she returns and it's like, oh, the Bellas are back. Paige is back. They beat the heel faction. Or, do you know what we could do? What if we just like put over the young guns, the young rising female stars in Fatal Influence? I think that'd be pretty dope as well. But obviously I'm not the writer, so I have no clue. I'm just really excited to see what this match even looks like. I could see a potential heel turn from someone in the Bellas plus Paige group, like Paige turning on the Bellas, or like, I don't know, like Brie turning on Nikki or something. Like, I think there's something weird going on between that whole group. So I don't see them lasting too long. And I actually think that might be the reason they end up winning at SummerSlam. But honestly, who knows? Following this, we had another women's match, and we knew we were going to be talking about this. I need to get a Chelsea Green shirt. I got my Dom shirt. I got my Seth shirt. I need like a girl's shirt. But the thing is I go on WWE Shop. I don't love Chelsea's merch that much. And there's one shirt that I do like, but the problem is if I buy a Chelsea shirt now, I'm not going to be able to buy a Chelsea shirt once she wins Money in the Bank in a few months. And I want the Chelsea Green Money in the Bank shirt. So I need to save my money for whenever that drops. Because once she does that, or if she just goes ahead and wins this whole interim women's championship ladder match, if she just does that, she might get a shirt out of that as well. I don't know. I saw reports online that there's actually a group of writers and directors that think it is a good idea to put the title on Chelsea Green. I would love that. I know a lot of people are like, oh no, wait till Money in the Bank to have her do her thing, whatever. I get that. At the same time, though, if Rhea's going to come back before Money in the Bank, why wouldn't you have Chelsea Green hold this interim championship? See how it works out. Have her, maybe like Chelsea could literally win it at Money in the Bank and lose it the very next SmackDown. That would just be the most Chelsea thing ever. I wouldn't like it in the moment, but it would make sense because if she loses it immediately, they're like, okay, she got her little moment of fame. Now let's give it to her. Money in the Bank. I'm actually not 100% certain if she's going to end up winning this ladder match. I think there's some other people that are in the running. There's still someone that we don't know is going to be in the match. There's still to be decided. I have zero clue who it's going to be, so maybe it's going to be that last person. But until Friday, I don't really have any clue. But Chelsea Green ends up picking up a win over Kiana James, and she got to actually hit her finisher. How dope is that? And she's heading to SummerSlam. And again, I think I talk about this probably every 2 weeks or so. I just bring it back up. Let's talk about the most over person in the company, Chelsea Green. It doesn't matter where they go, what place they're at, if she's backstage with the mic in her hand out in the ring, or if she's doing something stupid and dancing around the ring apron or something dumb. Chelsea Green is getting cheered all the time. It's ridiculous, right? She wins this match. Huge pop. I'm really happy she won it just so she's at least in the ladder match. I knew they were probably going to, but there was a side of me that were like, yeah, what if they just like didn't put Chelsea in this ladder match? That would really suck because you need someone in the match, like not especially for the girls, but like girls try and stay grounded or not do like as crazy of stuff. Which I hope they prove me wrong. I hope they just do something absolutely insane. I'm mostly comparing most women's ladder matches to the IC title match at WrestleMania, which that was just insane in itself. You know, Penta, Mexican Destroyer, JD McDonough, Spanish Fly from the ladder. I mean, there's so many different moments I could talk about. But the reason Chelsea Green fits in so well is she's literally just a maniac. We've all seen she goes off the ladder inside the ring to the outside tables. She's done that spot numerous times. She can do the Canadian Destroyer. I think she did a Canadian Destroyer onto a chair in one of the last matches. Like she just does like all the crazy stuff. So I think if you bring in Chelsea, who's going to bring in like that nuttiness, then maybe it'll spread around to everybody else and everybody else will be like, all right, we can maybe do some crazy stuff if we want to. That's why I'm happy she's in there. And she's just getting cheered every step of the way. I mean, she's women's champion within a year, surely. The only reason I wouldn't say this year is because if she doesn't win it and win the interim now, and then obviously she technically wouldn't be the champion, Rhea still would be, but she would have to beat Rhea. I don't think she's going to beat Rhea. I think she'll win Money in the Bank and then hold this briefcase forever. She should literally hold this for probably 6 months. Like, I think the earliest cash in should be WrestleMania. Because just the work she's going to be able to do with this briefcase is going to be unlike anything we've ever seen before. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be absolutely amazing. So if she ends up winning the SummerSlam match, that'd be cool. But honestly, I think this isn't her big moment. Her big moment's coming at Money in the Bank. But if it happens here, too, cool. Are there finish problems within the WWE? And no, not those kind of finish problems. Let's maybe comment down a little bit. Come on. How many kickouts at 2.9 is too many? Where's the line between a modern instant classic and a match that buries the finisher move entirely? So this is actually a pretty interesting thing I've been wanting to answer for a little bit. Because if you have ever listened to this podcast, I'm a big in-ring storytelling fan. Everything, the whole story itself is cool, and I love the wrestling, and I love the mic work, and I love everything about the WWE. My favorite thing is trying to follow the story that each person is trying to tell in the actual match. If two people just go out and kick each other in the face a bajillion times, and then one person ends up winning, to me, that's just yeah, it's cool, I guess. Like it was a good match, but there was no depth. I need some emotional depth to it. Having little Easter eggs and callbacks at different moments throughout their feud and careers and stuff like that. That's what I love. Perfect example. Happened this year. El Grande Americano versus the OG El Grande Americano. Everything from things that had happened in the feud. OG returns. Him and El Grande Americano have a point off in the Royal Rumble, and that's a big stare down moment. How do they start the match? Big stare down moment. But you're probably thinking okay. It's yeah, but everybody has that stare down moment with the person they hate. Later on in the match, we get the involvement of more than two people. We get Rayo and Bravo Americano, who are with the OG, not the OG, the real El Grande Americano. And then, of course, we have Bruto and Crudio, I think is what their names were. They were there for 2 weeks, and they were with now known as Chad Gable. And those were two pieces that were going into it that had a moment during the match that was a callback to things earlier in the feud. Andrea Bazarda, I think is how you say her last name. I really don't know. The El Grande Americano's girlfriend. She shows up with a ticket after she has been fired from AAA to help cheer him on and help the real El Grande Americano win his match. Chad Gable tries to rip the mask, does rip the mask partially of the El Grande Americano. Sorry, it's really, really hard to try and say OG Grande and Real Grande and Chad Gable and not say the apparent Ludwig Kaiser's name, but we all know that's not real. We all know it's blasphemy, but you have all these moments in that match, and then besides the outside interference, if you look inside the match itself, you have Chad Gable who constantly pulls one out of the bag, pulls one out of the hat on the real El Grande Americano. I just need to call him El Grande Americano because he's the only one now. He pulls a hat out of the bag, a cat out of the bag. Jeez, I suck. I suck at this. Worst podcast ever. I can't talk. I can't explain things. I just suck. Anyways, the moves that they pulled out during that match. El Grande Americano pulled out the Luxembourgan, which is a callback to his indie finisher. He pulled out the swinging DDT, which is a reference to his finisher before he turned into El Grande Americano. And he also pulled out the stair kick. he put El Grande's head like down where the stairs are, and he full on just like basement drop kicked his head into the stairs. That's a callback to whenever Ludwig Kaiser drop kicked Giovanni Vinci's head through the stairs. I like the callbacks whenever wrestlers realize that they can take outside inspiration from a feud or from their career, and they can finally bring it all into a single match. That's what I love about in-ring storytelling. And I know that was probably a terrible description of maybe what I was trying to get to, but this is the finishing problem. The finishing problem for me is whenever you have a finisher like, let's say the curb stomp. The curb stomp can get hit one time in a match against Roman Reigns, and that's lights out, 1, 2, 3, match over. I know it won't be like that at SummerSlam, but that's just my example. 1, 2, 3, that's it. But then if you really want to like spice up a match, he goes against Braun Breaker and he hits the stomp 4 times, and Braun Breaker still kicks out. And I know it's supposed to be like, oh, but the adrenaline, oh, but this, oh, but that. That's a problem I have with certain promotions. Not gonna name names. Me personally, I feel like it kills the in-ring storytelling if you have the person's finisher, the final blow, the final move, get kicked out of more than once. I get kicking out of it once because that's like a huge pop moment, maybe twice. I'm totally fine with. I'm not totally like the OGs, like the big unks are just like, oh, you know, this person, he hit the Claymore. Oh, this match should be over. Oh, it kicks out. All they do is kick out of the moves. And, you know, like, I'm not going to be like that. But I think whenever you get to like certain people that are like, okay, so what we're going to do during this match is we're going to hit 8 Mexican destroyers. We're going to have 15 avalanche curb stomps. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to throw you to into a table on fire 4 separate times. I'm going to hit you with a chair and completely break the chair. I'm going to stab you with like 65 knives. And then you're going to kick out at 1. But it's okay because that's how adrenaline works. I don't like that. And that's not me hating on anything else. Don't come at me. But there is a certain promotion that likes to do that a lot. And I think it's weird to me that they just throw in a whole bunch of moves in there, which the moves are cool and the way they sell is great. And like visually, it's like, this is awesome. But where's the story? There's no story if you hit a guy with 65 Mexican destroyers. Where's the story of like, okay, these 2 guys are doing 65 Mexican destroyers. Why? Why are they doing that? Why are they getting put through the table that's on fire? Like, make it make sense to me. And so whenever we're talking about the problem with like the finishing problem, kicking out at 2.9, I don't care about as long as that's supposed to be the false finish. I think if you sit there and every single, like, oh, Raquel hits you with a clothesline and you kick out at 2.9, it's like, we knew that wasn't the finish. But if Raquel maybe came out and hit like a sit out power bomb, then you could kick out at 2.9 because that's like, okay, maybe that's a finish. It's weird to me how sometimes you do a move that has never won you a match and the person like almost gets counted out and almost loses off of a move that you've never beat anybody with. Now, if you like I was saying, like if you do like something cool and something big and something dramatic, like a power bomb, sit out power bomb, like it makes sense they kick out at 2.9 because that's a big move. But again, it's not your finisher. That's why I like people using those bigger moves instead of just sitting there and using a finisher on repeat. But where's the line between a modern instant classic and a match that buries the finisher move? I just think for me, it's like an instant classic, just like I said, like has callbacks. Have callbacks between, you know, things earlier in their career, throughout the feud, whatnot. But you can't have someone go out and hit their finisher a million times and it not win the match. For me, it waters down the finisher. I will say, and I don't think that WWE actually has like a finishing problem. I don't think it's that bad. I think there are some moments, like I was just saying, where it's like, oh, I kicked out at 2.9 and like you hit me with like a basement drop kick. It's like, for me, that's not needed. That's not the storytelling that I was just talking about. It's like, okay, if you just start a match and you get clotheslined and you don't kick out before the count of 2, that's just kind of like overdone for me. That's just me personally. If you think something different, that's totally fine. Not trying to yuck your yums. I'm going to say that multiple times during the course of this podcast, but I just thought that this was like a fun kind of question to try and answer because I've seen it circulating a lot. I don't know if I really got my point across. If I made sense to you, sweet. If I didn't, my bad. Charlotte Flair wins in a disqualification and screws Nia Jax again. Surely maybe Nia is the to be decided. I honestly kind of feel bad for Nia Jax. I mean, she's gotten screwed 2 times in a row because Jade and Charlotte keep attacking each other during each other's matches, which honestly I think is weird. I think the whole DQ getting into the ladder match thing is so weird to me. It's like they're trying to not bury Nia Jax by having her lose. Just have Nia win, or just put Nia in the match, like make it a 6-pack ladder match or something like that. Like if it's really that big of a deal that you don't want to bury her, then just don't bury her then. I don't know. It's the whole situation is kind of weird to me. It's not like I hate that Charlotte's in the ladder match. I think it's fine, but just have her actually win the match. Now you have 2 people who didn't actually really win their matches. They got a DQ win, and they're both in the women's interim championship ladder match, but the girl who got screwed over is not. Kind of weird to me, and it's kind of weird that I'm defending Nia Jax at this point. That's kind of odd, because it's not like I don't like her. It's just like I don't think I've ever really talked about her that much on the podcast before. Finn Balor is headed to SummerSlam for the number 1 contenders match against Sami Zayn. Let's talk about a banger incoming. You can say what you want about Sami Zayn's character work and all that stuff, but you can't say anything about that dude's money in ring. And of course, if you want to talk about someone who's money in ring, you can't not talk about Finn Balor. So Finn getting the win in the number 1 contenders match. He's going to go face Sami. He's going to have a future title match. I think Finn is going to win this. Like, I really do think so. I'm excited to see where they go. I really did think Sami was going to end up in the match with CM Punk and Cody Rhodes, but I guess not. This is fine with me. It's a good way to have Finn get up into the main card and Sami stay there, and they can have a match, which both of them have no match at SummerSlam. And so they were able to find an easy way to start up a quick feud and get a match at SummerSlam for these two who both definitely deserve it and should have a match, considering Sami Zayn was just WWE champion. Finn Balor is like a massive babyface riding a huge wave of momentum at the moment. It's like you can't leave them off the SummerSlam card. I think this is a great move. Moving over to Raw. Austin Theory slams a chair into Otis's head while he's on the post. Honestly, this whole feud has been fun. I think it's just been fun. I don't really have too many comments on it that I haven't already said. I thought they were going to end up having a match at SummerSlam for the tag titles. I've also been seeing people online saying this is the last time we're going to see the Alpha Academy. I think that's a little bit egregious. Just a touch. I don't think this is them writing them off. This is kind of just a way to get more heat on the Vision. They haven't announced a match at SummerSlam for the tag titles, I think, because it's full. The card is full, I'm pretty sure. How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on night 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on night 1. Yeah. 12 matches, 6 and 6. Good amount of matches. I'm actually very, very happy about it. But there's just not room on the card. Whenever you get up to 7, 8 matches, as much as people want to like that, it's at this day and age, there's still going to be, breaks and potentially ads. I'm not sure about all that. I don't want ads. But if you add 7 or 8 matches, that is cutting time of every single match, except for one match, which is always going to be 30 minutes. The championship matches, the main event, those are always going to be probably just around 30 minutes. So you're cutting a lot of time away from everybody else. And I would rather just see, plentiful, 15-ish minute matches for everybody instead of adding in 2 more matches. Yeah, but now every single match besides the main event is now 8 minutes. I think that just kind of sucks. but I'm okay with the tag titles not being on the SummerSlam card just because I don't feel like they have too much of a thing going. They have the whole feud with the Alpha Academy, but that seems like it's almost like kind of an end's been put to it, or they might make a return or something like that. But it feels kind of a bit stagnant at the moment. And both sets of tag titles, I guess all sets of tag titles, I guess except for the women's, because they're technically in SummerSlam with Fatal Influence. They're not being defended, of course, but they're at least there. The men's tag titles, both sides, Raw and SmackDown, have just been so stagnant recently. It's like there's really just no reason to put them on a SummerSlam card. Physical media versus eternal rental is what people have been talking about between music streaming, digital film purposes. Gosh, guys, I'm the worst, right? Purchases. Jeez. Between music, streaming, digital film purchases that can disappear overnight, and subscription services, are we heading towards a total cultural loss of media ownership? And does the average consumer even care? Kind of a tough one, right? I think that it all comes down to this sweet little word called, well, first of all, consumerism. And along with that, you also have to think about, I'm really trying to think of the word for this. I suck so bad at podcasting, man. It's actually unbelievable. Tangibility. Tangibility is the word I am thinking of. People back in the olden days, and I say olden days like I wasn't dealing with it whenever I was younger. So like in the 2000s, people wanted things that were tangible. Vinyl records, VHSs, those are just a few examples. So that's physical media. Video games, that's probably the biggest one. The one I know the most about, probably the example I'll probably use the most. Video games obviously used to be on discs, on cartridges, and there are some companies that are still sticking with that method, like Nintendo, for example. I play the Pokemon games. All the Pokemon games are still on a game cartridge. Nintendo hasn't gone to this era where it's like you download the game off of like a store. I know you can, but the most normal thing is you go to your Walmart, you go to your GameStop, you go on, Diddy.com, and you just order the game and they ship it to your house, or you bring it back to your house and you plug the game in. So there are certain companies that are trying to keep the whole physical media thing alive because the term eternal rental is technically correct. It's an eternal rental because you no longer have a tangible thing that you can use and have in your daily life. You don't have it anymore if you get rid of the tangible thing. So once like music goes to like Apple Music, for example, we use it every single day, most of us. None of it's actually something that you can hold, something that's tangible. If Apple Music were to be like, oh, dang, we got to like delete the site right now, everybody would lose their music. Now, on the other hand, me personally, I have a bunch of vinyls. They're actually over there, but my vinyl player is back there. And I just think to myself, I think it's cool to have vinyls because I think they're fun to display, but it's not like I'm going to bring my vinyl record player into my car. I think the term convenience is very easy to use here. Physical media is not as convenient as eternal rentals, as people want to call it. But that's kind of just what you're paying for. So does the average consumer even care? No. If everything were to disappear off my Xbox right now, like I don't have any physical media for my Xbox except for like maybe Red Dead Redemption 2, I think is the only, and the OG Lego Batman. OG Lego Batman is also a physical disc, so they can never take that away from me. But everything else, it's like, if Xbox were to just be like, yo, I'm low-key taking your games away, guess what? All my games are gone. And does that suck? It's like, yeah, but they can't really do that. So I don't think it's that much of an issue. I know that there are some people that are like, I'll never not have disc games, and I'll never not have this and not have that, and I'll never, not use an iPod Touch for my music because they can't update it to get rid of my stuff. And like, some people are just crazy about that, right? Some people are just absolutely insane about all that stuff. I'm like, guys, you're paying for convenience. You're relying on convenience. That's why you're like your phone. They could just shut down your phone right now and you wouldn't have it anymore. Like everything you have, all of your photos, guess what? That's technically an eternal rental. You'll never actually have it in real life unless you like went and printed them out. But you don't want to go and print out all 20,000 photos you have on your phone and carry them around in your pocket, do you? No, that's not convenient at all. So I feel like it should be maybe physical media versus convenience is probably a better way to put it. And I mean, I don't really care. I just kept seeing this pop up and I was like, sure, let's give her a gander and let's talk about her a little bit. Let's talk about her. Joe Hendry and Danhausen's concert was interesting. I'm going to preface this. I'm not trying to yuck your yums. If you liked it, that's awesome. Me personally, I thought it was way too long. I thought it was funny for like 30 seconds and then I wanted it to be over. It was terrible. It felt very awkward, very forced. And I was like once the Minihausens came out, I was like, oh, okay. And then the dancers came out and I was like, oh, they actually like cared about this. That's not great. I thought it was just supposed to be like a funny, like corny haha thing where it was like Joe Hendry and Danhausen were just like singing and maybe the Minihausens came out and it was supposed to be like a concert. I thought it was going to last for like a minute, 2 minutes. Like in total, like start to finish. That was not the case. This felt like it was 10 minutes long of whatever the hell that was. Finally to be interrupted by Ryan Garcia, boxer of all people. And Ryan Garcia turns and hits Joe Hendry with a chair. I thought that was hilarious. And of course, out comes my boy Dirty Dom and JD McDonough. Cleans them up. And it leads to something interesting. Danhausen says that he wants to have a put the money on a pole match. Put the money on a pole match. What is that supposed to mean? Are they going to do like a human money's ladder match? Because that would be fire. Like, is it going to be that sort of thing? But the official name for the match under the SummerSlam, I guess like poster for them two, is a human monies on a pole match. Human monies on a pole match is what they are calling it. Is it going to be a thing where they literally just like put a pole up in the middle instead of like hanging it and whoever gets the money first wins? I'm actually so intrigued. I think it's going to be really, really funny. Like extremely funny. And I have a little prediction on how Dirty Dom can win this. I talked about it last week, but of course I always turn my SummerSlam predictions or any predictions into an actual video. So I do want to talk about it in an actuality in just a second. But speaking of the LA crowd, like the Danhausen Joe Hendry segment wasn't great. Like people literally cheered once Dom showed up and JD showed up to stop them from singing because it was abysmal. It was just really, really funny that they hated this, but the LA crowd also hated every other match and every other segment. I swear. The only person they showed out for was Solo Sikoa. But the LA crowd sucked absolute schlong every single match. Like the Austin Theory like moment where he slams the head into Otis's head. I was like, oh, that's so sick. And the crowd was like, dead silent. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, you got to be involved a little bit. Like, you got to give back a little bit. Even during the Rey Mysterio and Ethan Page match, they were terrible. They had the top rope, like, outside Hurricane Rana, and it sends Ethan Page into the desk, and then Ethan Page blocks the 619 with the ring cape, something, like, you've never seen before, and then Ethan Page ends up winning with the Egoplex. These are all things that were, like, really cool, and the entire crowd was just like, oh, because they're in California. I'm not the biggest California fan, so I'm afraid that they were awful. They were an awful crowd, and I hated them. And thank goodness that SummerSlam is not in California. It's official for me. Not Danhausen. Dude, worst podcast episode ever. That should be the title. The title of this episode should be worst podcast ever. Worst WWE podcast of all time. That's what we might call it. And I want to see if it maybe gets some clicks because it's funny. I don't know. It's official. Solo Sikoa is a babyface. It's official. I did give a little bit of a correction, a little bit of a one-off for that crowd. They showed out for Solo Sikoa. The rest of the time they were boring and they sucked and had no energy, but Solo showed up and it was very, very funny. Jay does this your warning shot, bow, but instead of hearing Jay, we hear Solo and he starts coming out and goes, bow, bow, pew, 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 bow, pew, pew, like just to be an idiot. And he's so funny and he has so much charisma. I think he could just be a megastar. Like I said, funny, tons of charisma, great character, story work, crowd work, and like people love Solo. And there's that video that just surfaced recently and he's like dressed up and someone's like on the side of his meet and greet thing, like kind of blocked off, and she's like yelling for Solo. And he like comes over and he like gives her a hug and the whole crowd like freaks out. Like Solo Sikoa at his core is a good guy. And I love that he's getting mic time as well. Because I think people forget that he is an absolute dog on the mic and he's really, really funny. Like even in that last segment, he started yeeting. He was like, "You gonna yeet for 30 minutes and do this stupid crap?" Like, dude, that was just so funny to me. And I hope they don't do this thing where they're like, Solo's, oh, he's a baby face. Oh, let's bring the fans in. And then all of a sudden they were like, "You're with the bloodline now." Because if they do that, I'm going to be pissed. Raquel Rodriguez wins the IC title from Sol Ruca. No way. I could not believe this. In my mind, I'm like, okay, Sol versus Raquel. I want Raquel to win. I'm a Raquel truther. I think she's awesome. But I'm like, surely this is just more setup for the SummerSlam match. And of course, I thought I was right. You know, they're having this match. Liv gets involved. Io Sky comes out. Liv and Io scrap on the ground. Io knocks out Roxanne to the outside, whatever. And I'm just like, oh man. And Raquel reaches over and she grabs Io by the hair and she pulls her up. And I thought Sol Ruca was gonna hit a roll up or something, and that didn't end up happening. And I was like, oh man, I think Sol's probably just gonna hit a soul snatcher. And Io and Liv are doing their thing. Raquel set up for the soul snatcher, and Sol goes off the ropes, and Roxanne just happened to get up, push her into the ring post perfectly to set up Sol Ruca for the Tejana bomb, and Raquel just rocked her into that mat. And Raquel wins her first singles championship on the main roster. Let's calm down. She's an NXT Women's Champion. But dude, I haven't been that hype in such a long time. I was sitting there and they counted to 3 and I put my hands up in the air and I was totally cheesing and just freaking out. I was like, there is no way they actually are going to take a shot. Not even take a shot. It's just they're finally going to give Raquel her flowers. I'm just so hype. I'm literally just so hype. She's been through so many ups and downs where it's people have genuinely said oh, this is probably Raquel's last few months in the company. And she goes on a podcast and she talks about the struggles she deals with. And then you see people talking about her online that are oh, I just met Raquel. For as mean of a character as she plays, or kind of a ruthless kind of character, they are she is the nicest, most down-to-earth person ever. And whenever you see those stories and even people they video now with the meta glasses, and it's you see someone like that and you can't not cheer for them. It's so cool to have someone that's so nice and genuine as Raquel Rodriguez, who plays a really fun character in Big Mami Cool, Raquel Rodriguez. It's cool to see them just finally get their moment. And I was so freaking happy for her. And I can't wait to see what she does with the championship. I hope she has a decently long reign. I think she could hold this for like the better majority of the year. I don't think she will. I think she'll lose it to someone else, someone random. But like, I think it's so cool that they're finally going to take a chance and she can have her moment. SummerSlam predictions. This is what we all really came here for. Let's be honest. SummerSlam predictions. We're going to start by going over the cards real quick. And this is what I think of the difference between the cards. So night 1, we got CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes. Undisputed WWE Championship. We have Hell in a Cell, Brock Lesnar versus Obafemi. We have the Women's World Championship, Liv Morgan versus Io Sky. We have a singles match with Gunther versus Nick Aldis. 6-man tag match between LA Knight, Solo Sikoa, Royce Keys versus Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso, and Jacob Fatu. And the 6-woman tag match between Fatal Influence, Nikki Bella, Brie Bella, and Paige. Night 2, which I'm just going to say this really quick, absolutely mogs night 1. I mean, it's not even close. Night 1, the card is great, but night 2, the card is just way better. It's even better. So they've really done a great job in building this card, in my opinion, which I know a lot of people are online like,
oh, well, I actually think that the build-up to SummerSlam has sucked, and,
like, shut up. Like, look at these fire matches we have handed to us on a silver spoon, on a silver platter. I'm so excited. Let's jump into night 2. Of course, all of these are in no particular order. World Heavyweight Championship match. Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. First time in like 4 years since they've gone at it. Interim WWE Women's Championship ladder match. Tiffany Stratton, Jade Cargill, Charlotte Flair, Chelsea Green, and to be decided, which could potentially be like Nia Jax or Julia or Lash Legend. Like, it could be genuinely anyone. Intercontinental Champion. Really? Worst podcast ever. Intercontinental Championship match. Penta versus Chad Gable in Chad Gable's hometown. Then we got the United States Championship match. Trick Williams versus Baron Corbin, which I think potentially Carmelo Hayes could get added to. So let's put a little asterisk on that. I think Melo could get added this Friday. Undisputed WWE Championship #1 contenders match. Finn Balor versus Sami Zayn. And then, of course, a singles match, which is now a, Money's on a pole match. Danhausen versus Dominic Mysterio. How great of a card do we have? I'm so excited for this weekend. Let's go ahead and jump right into the predictions, though. Undisputed WWE Championship match, CM Punk, your champion, versus Cody Rhodes. I got CM Punk here. I don't think there's any reason to have Cody get the belt right back. I think CM Punk can have a little bit more of a plentiful run. I mean, he just won it. I don't really have much to say. Give me Punk. World Heavyweight Championship match, Brock Lesnar versus Obafemi. I do think this is it for Brock Lesnar. Personally, I think it's his hometown. I'm pretty sure he's going to go out on a loss on his back. He's going to put over Obafemi. It's going to be in this amazing Hell in a Cell match. And people are going to look back at this match and be like, okay, this was a great way to go out. And I think this is probably the way that Brock wants to go out. For that reason, Brock's going up on his back. He's going to give the win to Obafemi, give the big push to the young talent. Give me Obafemi to win at Hell in a Cell. Women's World Championship, Liv Morgan, your champion, versus Io Sky. This is one that I genuinely just have no clue. There are some where I'm sitting here just like, these are all just like 50-50s. Like, I could see a whole bunch of different scenarios play out no matter what. Those first two, I think, are pretty easy. Liv Morgan has not defended her championship since WrestleMania. I don't know if they want to do this thing where it's like, okay, Liv's finally going to like win this one match and then she's kind of going to go on a tear and hold it for a little bit longer. Or I wonder if they're just going to be like, Liv's just going to drop it. Like, we got to do something different. And I'm more leaning towards the second one. I'm leaning towards Io Sky just goes ahead and picks up a win. And that's kind of just it. Because Liv, as great as she is and as fantastic as she is, I think they just don't know what to do with her. They're trying to make her like this scared champion, I guess. Why didn't we have her defend it in like a mini feud or something like that? Like, that's a whole nother thing I'm going to be talking about next week, most likely. If she does end up dropping this, like, just how badly WWE dropped the freaking ball with Liv Morgan as their champion. I'm going to go ahead and pick Io Sky to pick up the win, just because I think they need to maybe go a different direction to maybe just get a reset or something on the creative. I don't know. I'm honestly just pissed off about the whole thing. I quickly got to highlight who I picked so I don't forget, because normally what I do is I just say who I think I'm going to say, and they'll be like, oh, I'll remember, and then I'll come back to record the next week or so, and then I'll be like, oh, I have no clue who I picked to win this match. So CM Punk, Io Sky, and last but not least, Obafemi. Next, we have the singles match between Gunther and Nick Aldis. Here's what I'm going to say. The guy who beat John Cena, who retired John Cena, the guy who beat AJ Styles, retired AJ Styles, and the guy who retired Goldberg should not lose to a general manager. And if that happens, I actually might freak out. Like I said, the whole career killer gimmick has been ruined by creative, and they've done a terrible job booking him ever since he beat AJ Styles at the Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia. Singles match. Give me Gunther. Nick Aldis, like, he can be competitive just because he used to be a wrestler, and most people know that, and he's in very good shape, and people know he's a good wrestler, but there's no shot he should be beating Gunther, so give me Gunther in a win over Nick Aldis. 6-man tag match, LA Knight, Solo Sikoa, Royce Keys versus Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso, and Jacob Fatu. I'm scared they're going to do this thing where Solo turns on these two and all of a sudden it's like, what? No, because I wanted Solo as a baby face and I don't want him involved with the bloodline. So I hope that doesn't happen. I don't see Jimmy, Jay, and Jacob losing. But at the same time, I don't think you want to hurt the momentum of LA Knight, Solo Sikoa, or Royce Keys. Just give me... Do you know what? For this one, I'm just going to pick who I want to win. I want LA Knight, Solo Sikoa, and Royce Keys to win. So just give me them, and screw it. Why not? Now, for all of these aren't necessarily who I want to win. It's who I think will win. Actually, all of these are right, except I want Liv Morgan to win, except I am going to pick Io. This next one might be the same fate. Fatal Influence versus the Bellas plus Paige. They could potentially do this thing kind of like what I was saying, where it's like, what if we just have a heel turn for no reason? That's kind of the Solo Sikoa situation, but for the Fatal Influence match, I don't want them to do this thing where it's like the CM Punk return cheese, where it's like, oh, you're a legend over 40, so we're going to give you the win. They need to do some sort of heel turn in this match besides the men's tag match, where Paige potentially turns on the Bellas. I think that you should give the young girls their flowers, the young girls their grace, the young girls a first win at SummerSlam. Give me Fatal Influence to beat the Bellas plus Paige. Moving over to the night 2. World Heavyweight Championship match between Roman Reigns, your champion, and Seth freaking Rollins. Here's the thing. I don't want Roman to win at all. I want Seth to squash him, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't really want it to be a squash match. Let's calm down. I hate squash matches, but I think it would be way cooler to see Seth win again and have Roman chase the belt instead of the inverse like it's been always, where it's people chasing Roman. Even whenever Roman Reigns chased his championship, it wasn't even chasing it. He returned at the Royal Rumble, won the Royal Rumble, and then won his very next match at WrestleMania. Like, I want someone who's going to be sitting there, like, I want Roman Reigns to be sitting there, just chasing and clawing his way back for a championship. And I don't think it'll ever happen again because he's not a full-time superstar at this point. But that's just what I want. Give me Seth Rollins to just keep owning Roman Reigns, and I don't care. I think that prediction's probably wrong, and I think Roman will win, but give me Seth anyways. The interim WWE Women's Championship ladder match, Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill versus Charlotte Flair versus Chelsea Green versus to be decided, potentially Lash Legend. That's my guess. There's only two options for me. It's not Tiffy. Tiffy's the US champ. No. Jade Cargill, kind of, but she's kind of feuding with Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair's, going against Jade Cargill. Why not? Why not pick Chelsea Green? Why not my girl? Let's take her. Because I think there's going to be this huge feud with no title between Jade and Charlotte. And if you give it to Chelsea, I think there's just more fun options to go off of. And it's not like you really have anyone more over than Chelsea Green. So, do you know what? Screw it. Give me Chelsea. If it's not Chelsea, it's going to be Charlotte Flair for sure. Intercontinental Championship match, Penta versus Chad Gable. This is Chad Gable all the way. And the reason being is because the title scene needs Penta. The Intercontinental Championship does not need Penta anymore. Penta has done a fantastic job in carrying this belt, and he's had some great feuds and great matches. But Chad Gable, this is like the end-all to his story. He lost to Penta. He goes on this journey on how to be a luchador and how to beat luchadors. He becomes the OG El Grande Americano, goes through this whole feud, ends up finding himself, and he's doing all of this, again, big storytelling. He's doing all of this because all he really wants is the Intercontinental Championship that he hasn't been able to get his hands on. If Chad Gable doesn't win this match, I'm going to lose my mind. U.S. Championship match between Trick Williams, your champion, versus Baron Corbin. Potentially, asterisk Carmelo Hayes could potentially get added. What if we put it on Baron Corbin? What if? And it might just be cheese because he's like one of my favorites, probably. He's such a good wrestler, and I love his finisher, and his last name's Corbin. I mean, come on. Only cool people are named Corbin. Corbin Blue, me, and Baron Corbin. Those are the only people I can think of. So if you have any other Corbins that you know, drop them down below. Hopefully they aren't like the worst person ever and I didn't give you like PTSD or something. But I think if you put it on Baron Corbin, again, it could be this thing where Trick is kind of chasing, but maybe they don't do that. But again, the title scene needs Trick Williams, in my opinion. I don't think Trick needs the U.S. title anymore. I think he could immediately go up and challenge CM Punk and Cody Rhodes and potentially Finn Balor and Sami Zayn. Like, he could be that guy. Give me Baron Corbin. Why not? Let's screw it. Undisputed WWE Championship #1 contenders match, Finn Balor versus Sami Zayn. Again, similar to the Chad Gable prediction. If Finn Balor doesn't win this match, I am going to lose my ever-loving mind. He's pushed so hard. He's been just fighting for another win at SummerSlam. It's been 10 years since he won his Universal Championship. He could win this match, maybe go on and face CM Punk and get his win later on in the year. They can run that feud back. That feud was great. We're going to do it again. Finn Balor gets the win. Why not? Why not Finn? He's going to beat Sami Zayn, and he's going to go on in a few months to become WWE champion. And I don't care. I don't care. It has to happen. And the final match on here, we have the Human Monies on a pole match between Danhausen and Dominic Mysterio. Here's my official prediction. Hear me out. Hear me out. Danhausen goes to curse Dominic for maybe the final time, or like to kind of end off the match. Or maybe Danhausen just hasn't been able to get to it the entire time. He's like getting ready to do the UR, and before he pulls back for the curse, Dominic like gets to him, or maybe JD gets involved, who knows. The last time he goes to do it, Dominic pulls out a mirror in front of himself. And now Danhausen has pointed at himself and has now cursed himself. The reason this would be funny is it would be a change of pace for Danhausen to do some different work while himself is cursed. And the thing is it makes sense because it doesn't hurt Danhausen to lose because he is not the reason he wins matches. His curse is the reason he wins matches. So his curse would still have a 100% win streak, but he would not. And I think it would make sense. Danhausen curses Dominic Mysterio at the beginning of the year. Dom loses his title. Goes on, feuds with the Judgment Day, does all this stuff. All comes full circle. He faces JD. He stole money from the Judgment Day. Dom would finally get his get back 6 months later on Danhausen and be the first person to beat him in the WWE. And I feel like if Dominic Mysterio, the former, almost held it for a year, Intercontinental Champion, the current AAA Mega Champion, who's an absolute dog and doing amazing work down there in AAA. If he lost to Danhausen, that'd be a real kick in the face, kick in the nuts for about every fan of Dom ever. So give me Dominic Mysterio to finish off my predictions. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the final thing on today's WWE Weekly Review. I appreciate you guys for joining me. If you want to do me a favor, go over to my YouTube. That is the ZigZag with Corbin Elliott. Actually, no, Corbin McCoy. I forgot. I changed it. That's like a full dox on myself, by the way. Now you know my first, middle, and last name. That's just fantastic. I don't really care. But if you want to go check that out, please go check it out. It should be a lot of fun. If you enjoyed this podcast, drop a rating down below. Maybe follow the podcast if you're having some fun. And I should have a Pokemon Pitch Black pack opening coming out within the next few days, along with the SummerSlam predictions that I just did. So if you already just listened to them, you don't need to watch it. But you can if you want to. There'll be some cool pictures, and you can see my beautiful face on it as well. Other than that, I do not have anything for you guys. If you have any questions for me for next week, if you come up with anything while you're watching SummerSlam, make sure to drop them down below. Also, I think you can find my email somewhere. It should be the zigzag06@outlook.com. Go ahead and send those my way. I will literally read and react and answer any question or scenario you have. Other than that, I got nothing for you guys. So I want to thank you guys for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful day.